Let's set the scene. A stuffy chamber in Cape Town's parliament, tension thick enough to choke on. KwaZulu-Natal Police Commissioner Lieutenant General Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi stares down a room full of MPs, his voice steady but laced with fire. He warned that forcing crime intelligence members to defend themselves publicly would reveal truths too shocking for most to handle, potentially sparking widespread chaos across the country.
Is that the members of crime intelligence are going to be forced to defend themselves. And the only best way to defend themselves is to speak the truth. And when they come with the truth, majority of you will not be able to stomach it. This country is going to burn.
It's not exaggeration. It's a warning shot from a man who's waded through South Africa's darkest corners, where crime, corruption, and political power games aren't headlines, they're daily survival. Yesterday, October the 7th, 2025, marked day one of Parliament's Ad Hoc Committee hearings into Mkhwanazi's explosive claims of rot in the police force. What unfolded was less a tidy inquiry and more a powder keg of procedural fights, leaked secrets, and finger-pointing that left everyone, including us watching from the sidelines, wondering, is this the spark for reform or just more smoke? As someone who followed the Zondo Commission's state capture fallout with fair interest, I tuned in expecting fireworks, and boy did we get them. This isn't just another committee rubber-stamping reports. It's a direct response to Mkhwanazi's July 2025 public outcry about systemic capture in the South African police force. Think rogue intel units, political hit jobs on honest cops, and cash vanishing into thin air. The Ad Hoc Committee, chaired by ANC MP Soviet Nhlanhla, was set up in August to sift truth from allegation, verify facts, and recommend fixes. But with a roster stacked with players from across the political spectrum, and some directly in the crosshairs, neutrality feels like a tall order. I'm going to break this down from the information that I was able to capture from the live streams. It is a long session, but I'm going to put the link in the description, so if you want to watch it and forward through the parts until you get to the parts that you can watch, you're more than welcome. Initially, the agenda was simple on paper. Start at 9 a.m. in the Good Hope Chambers, swear in Mkhwanazi as the first witness, and dive into his affidavit on SAPS Meddling. But South African politics being what it is, things derailed faster than a taxi in rush hour. It all started with EFF leader Julius Malema, no stranger to parliamentary brawls, when he fired the first salvo before Mkhwanazi could even raise his right hand. Rising on a point of order, Malema objected strongly to swearing in Mkhwanazi without an original statement prepared specifically for the committee, pointing out that they only had his earlier submission from the Madlanga Commission. He argued that any additions should come only after a primary document was filed with this group, and emphasized that relying on a supplementary note from the other inquiry was improper. And Malema kept pressing this, insisting that the committee was not a branch of the Madlanga Commission, and questioning the validity of proceeding without a dictated original affidavit, which meant Mkhwanazi wasn't fully prepared to testify under their rules.
We have said to this legal team, time and again, that we are not a junior committee of the commission. There is no statement of General Mkhwanazi before us. There is a statement of General Mkhwanazi to the commission. And the proper way is, there must be an original statement to us as an ad hoc committee.
The room erupted. Evidence leaders Norman Arendse, the senior counsel, a heavy hitter with decades in constitutional law, and his team, Maria Mokwetsi and Lerato Sikalala, scrambled to clarify, but Malema's point stuck. This wasn't the Madlanga Commission, the judicial probe running parallel, chaired by retired Justice Mbuyisele Madlanga. It was the Parliament's turf, and shortcuts smelt like a setup. The committee suddenly adjourned indefinitely, leaving Mkhwanazi cooling his heels. Social media lit up with frustration, with one user saying it's a kangaroo court from the jump. By midday, they'd patched it with a promise of a fresh affidavit, but the damage was done. Trust in the process already fraying. Once they reconvened, tentatively, around early afternoon, Mkhwanazi didn't waste a breath. He made it clear from the outset that he had no interest in politics and was there solely as a dedicated public servant to deliver the facts without spin. He laid out a grim roadmap of crime intelligence gone rogue, the shadowy SAPS unit meant to hunt gangs and threats, but twisted into a personal piggy bank for the powerful. First up was the infamous 2011 perimeter wall around former Police Minister Nathi Mthethwa's KwaZulu-Natal homestead. Mkhwanazi highlighted how the visible boundary wall around Mthethwa's property was constructed using funds diverted from crime intelligence, with no one ever held responsible, despite existing documentation to prove it. He said it was not Mthethwa's idea. It was Intel operatives' ploy for leverage, hooking politicians into the graft loop.
We are sitting today, the country is in mourning because we lost one of our ambassador in France. But then ambassador was a minister of police. As you switch on the television and you watch the homestead of the former minister of police, you're going to see a very big wall, perimeter wall, that was built by the money from crime intelligence. But nobody was held accountable for such, and reports are there.
These were echoes of Zondo all over again. Then the safe houses scandal. Properties meant for undercover ops, now flipped into luxury pads for connected elites. Mkhwanazi explained that crime intelligence had been renting out these safe houses to owners who would surprise everyone, noting that such arrangements had gone unchallenged for years, with hints pointing to involvement from parliamentary figures. Political meddling took centre stage next. Mkhwanazi accused bosses of burying honest cops who dug too deep while promoting yes men, including family of disgraced ex-crime intelligence head Richard Mdluli, who still clutch surveillance tools that could wiretap MPs. He tied it to broader networks, alleged underworld figures like Vusimusi Matlala, linking up with Northwest businessman Brown Mokhotsi, and Suleiman Karim to sabotage Gauteng probes. And Police Minister Senzo Mchunu? Mkhwanazi revealed a pre-appointment coffee chat at Mchunu's home brokered by Chief of Staff Cedric Nkabinde, amid whispers of Mchunu destroying evidence in an old death probe. He expressed disappointment over Mchunu's denial of ties to Mokhotsi during a March 2025 meeting, viewing it as a blow to building trust. He wrapped up with reform pitches, better vetting, folding intel into a tighter structure, but only in sealed sessions to shield sources. Citing Lieutenant Colonel Dumisani Kumala's 2023 arrest as a project to derail change, Mkhwanazi ended by emphasizing his straightforward style, explaining that he always confronts issues head-on, rather than approaching them covertly. Security pros nod along. Leaks arm syndicates, doom informants, and tank ops. But here's the investigative gut check. Why air these nukes publicly, then clam up on details? Euro move or calculated drip feed? As Mkhwanazi rapped, the real circus peaked. Calls to boot DA's Dianne Kohler-Barnard, an alternate with no vote but plenty of baggage. Mkhwanazi had fingered her and NCC's Fadil Adams for reckless leaks at Madlanga, claiming they spilled classified intel that got Khumalo nabbed. ANC members and MK party's David Skosana pushed hard, griping that his wife, ex-public protector Busisiwe Mkhwebane, got the boot without this drama. Kohler-Barnard demanded an apology, and in response Mkhwanazi pointed out that she had gone public denying the existence of the Joint Standing Committee on Intelligence when he questioned her and then demanded he apologize on national television. He then delivered a sharp backhand apology, expressing regret that she seemed to have forgotten the oath she swore, which she apparently believed came with an expiration date. Oof, pure theatre.
The member of parliament that I referred to before went out in the public and said, no, when I asked these questions, there was no Joint Standing Committee of Intelligence. And the member asked me to apologize in the national TV. I told everyone else that told me about that I will apologize to the honorable member. I'm apologizing that the honorable member had forgotten the oath that she took. I apologize for it. That she took an oath. That oath has got an expiry date according to her.
Malema swooped in as the unlikely referee, arguing that neither the chair nor the committee had the authority to remove members in this way. He expressed deep frustration over the procedural chaos, stating that the entire process had been mishandled right from the very beginning and was off to an extremely poor start. This coming from Malema? But Malema flipped script, suggesting it would be procedurally fair to excuse Mkhwanazi for his testimony since the recusal debate had nothing to do with him. The EFF later hailed it as saving the committee from collapse. Fair, since without his pushback, we'd probably have zilch. They adjourned in uproar, Kohler-Barnard hanging on by a thread. This hearing, chaotic as it was, peels back layers on a force that's supposed to protect us but feels more like a family feud among thieves. Mkhwanazi's drops a link to Madlanga, where notices are flying to Nhlanhla, Mkhwanazi, Karim, Adams and Kohler-Barnard. Compelled testimony or face charges. Parallel probes mean overlap headaches, but Parliament's edge? Legislative teeth for real fixes. Yet questions gnaw. Can the JSCI, with its cover-up baggage, oversee without leaks? Need whistleblower shields? Blind audits? Timed reveals? Mkhwanazi floats decentralizing intel to starve rot, but admits it risks blunting the blade. And the elephant in the room, is this secrecy a firewall against gangs or a blanket for the elite? Mkhwanazi's selective blasts smell partisan to skeptics. Hammer Kohler-Barnard, soft on ANC ties. Day 2 looms with more witnesses. Mkhwanazi's on leave, but expect heat on Mackenzie, Sabia and beyond. If this committee doesn't crank the light without torching the op, we're back to square one. A nation where crooks wear badges and truth burns slow. But what do you make of it? If you have any thoughts, please do share them in the comments section. And if you found any value in this video, please do like, share and subscribe. And I will catch you in the next video.